not going to be here today. So I am Robert Richards, Mayor Pro Tem, current Mayor Pro Tem. I will be conducting the meeting tonight. Thank you all for coming. So we will start here. The City of Brookshire City Council for the City of Brookshire, Texas will hold a regular session City Council meeting April the 3rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. in City Hall. Consider the following. So can we have prayer and pledge, please?
Our eternal Father in heaven, we are grateful for this time to be together. We're grateful for the city of Brookshire and for the opportunities it provides to us. We're grateful for this gathering and for the opportunity to spend time directing and leading thy work in this portion of the kingdom. We pray, Father, that we might have thy Spirit guide and direct us this night. We ask you to help us to find peace and that we might find wisdom in making the decisions that guide our city. And this we pray in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
Mayor Branch, Mayor Pro Tem Richards,
Present.
Alderwoman Taylor,
Here.
Alderman McAnally,
Present.
Alderwoman McDade,
Present.
Alderman Green.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Public comments. Per the Texas Open Meetings Act and Texas Government Code 551007, the City Council may not discuss or take action of any item not listed on the agenda. Each member of the public wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting, which is limited to 3 minutes. So I have Mr. Kozar, Mr. Michael Kozar.
Good evening, Councilman, all councilwomen. Say, I'd just like to speak on early voting's coming up, the 22nd and 29th. And us as a citizen, we need to get out and vote, show our support to everything. But also the water board bond. It's very important to pass this bond for the well-being of the city of Brookshire, for the growth of it. And Lord knows we're in record growth here. We need it. And I've always stated, I want what's best for the city. And believe me, if I didn't think this was what's best for the city, I wouldn't be up here asking y'all to vote yes for it. It's very important. Without it, they're gonna have to do another kind of finance for it. And I mean, you're allowed to have your water bill go up double. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but that's just the facts of the nature. The bond will keep our water bills basically the same. There'll be very little raise to it. And the other one, important bill, is the school board bond. And it's really not a bond, it's like a recoup tax, because Brookshire is a rich school district now. A lot of people don't realize that Brookshire's a rich school district with all the businesses we have for the taxes. So we had to pay $5.2 million back to Austin. The school's already paid it. It's already paid and done. And the bond is, or the recoup is, just for the citizens to approve it. Because if you don't approve it, what happens is the state will come in, and I don't know how the state will do it per se, but I will give you an example. You'll say the state will come in and say, y'all voted not to do this, so we're going to get our money through businesses. And we'll come and take Grunfos tax money to get our $5.2 million. And once they do that, the city of Brookshire will never get that tax money back. It'll stay with the state of Texas forever. And that's why we need to vote yes on this. So the school, we've already paid it back. Your taxes won't get raised for the school. Nothing will change. The money's already been paid. It's just we have to let the citizens have to vote on it. And it's important to vote yes for this bond, just so we can keep the money in from the businesses in Brookshire. Because through the growth and all, when we get all the other houses built and all this people here, we'll be back to a regular school district and we'll get to keep the money. We won't be considered rich anymore. The reason that it becomes rich is they do, every student in the school district is worth so much money. But with all the businesses we have, our tax money is way over our allotted money. So we got to send it back to Austin, it goes to another school district that needs the money, that doesn't have businesses and come in. So, I mean, it's, I don't know why it's done that way and how it's done, I just know that that's how it is. And it is important for Brookshire School District, Royal, to grow, and we need to vote yes for this bond. I appreciate it, and I thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a presentation from, oh, did you? I'm sorry, you did. Come on up.
Hello, everyone. Rodriguez, I'm a constituent from the city of Brookshire, Texas. Been here pretty much all my life. And listen, animal advocacy is very important, not just to me, but to millions of Texans. So I have asked y'all to listen, not y'all personally, I love all of you. I have asked you to listen to me about my ideas because I get to see what the heck's going on out in the world outside of Brookshire for animals who don't have a home. We had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful camaraderie in December 2024. The Ernesto's dogs were saved. It's a mama dog and her 4 puppies were saved, plus 15 other dogs. So what I would like to see us as the city of Brookshire do is continue to network, use our money to network with people who are already on the ground. There are soldiers on the ground. They're saving dogs. They know where the fosters are. The second thing is we need fosters. We need to help people become a foster here in Brookshire. So when we find a dog, we have a house to take it to and help them with food and bedding and those kind of things. I know the 2 people on this agenda that someone here is bringing forth. And while I can appreciate your effort, I cannot appreciate you being new to our hometown, me being a veteran of animal advocacy. I know these people by name. I know their reputation. So please get with us, the citizens. Answer your calls, answer your emails, so I can inform you what I know on the ground level. Putting them on the agenda kind of supersedes open government. So I am a Paul Miller fan, but we all have a reputation. He does too. I don't think he's the perfect fit for Brookshire, but I think some of his services will help people like me who are out there trying to get dogs off the street and to a home. So thank you for giving energy to this today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a presentation from Salsa Grunfos Commercial Center, plus report 1. Do we have a presentation?
Good evening, Mayor Pro
Good
Tem,
evening.
Council, Aldermen and women. My name is Ansel Sims. Yes, we have a presentation that we'd like to share. My name is Ansel Sims, and I'm the president of Grunfos Corporation in the U.S. Grunfos has been in the U.S. for 53 years, and it's our largest market for Grunfos, which is a Danish company out of Bjerringbro, Denmark. We have offices in 56 countries, but the U.S. is our largest market, and we're proud to call Brookshire our U.S. headquarters and our global headquarters for water utility. We've been in the city of Brookshire since we acquired Paco Pumps, which was acquired, part of Solzer since the early 2000s. And we have a brand new LEED Platinum building right here on Kumi Road that we built in 2021. I'm here tonight with my facilities manager for the U.S., Mike Franzen. He was responsible for that building design and construction, and we finished that during COVID. He was the only one in the building for about a year and a half. When people came back, he was a little bit upset because he had the building by himself. I'm here today to talk to the council about some exciting plans that we have for the U.S. The pump market, Grunfos is the world's largest pump manufacturer. We make pumps for commercial buildings, stadiums. We're in the Astros stadiums. We're in LA Rams stadium. We're in Mercedes-Benz stadium. We make pressure booster pumps for commercial buildings, heating and cooling in data centers. We make pumps for fire out of Indianapolis. We make wastewater, groundwater, irrigation pumps in our water utility market, and we make homes, pumps for homes. So that's our domestic building services. So we have a pump that will give you instant hot water. You turn it on, it's hot. It's amazing. And then we have industry, food and beverage. I'm here tonight to talk about an exciting expansion that we have. We want to grow in the U.S., which is the largest pump market in the world. To give you an idea, the pump market in the U.S. is $10.6 billion in revenue. It's growing at a CAGR of 5.4% each year and projected to grow over the next 6 years. We plan to double our business in the U.S. Grunfos, this is our largest market, and our group in Denmark has said this is where we want to grow. We want to double our business by 2030, and you, Ansel Sims, have been charged with helping us build a new manufacturing plant somewhere in the facilities. So in the next few pages, I want to just share with you a little bit about who we are and our plans for growth. So Grunfos, as I said, is the largest pump company in the world. Our purpose is to pioneer solutions to the world's water and climate challenges, but also improve quality of life for people. We think that everyone deserves clean and safe water. It's a part of our foundation. We are foundation-led and owned, and our purpose 80 years ago is to bring water access to the over 200 million people who don't have it. And as a part of that growth, on the next page, you can see where we built this LEED Platinum, fully electric, sustainable building, solar panels. It's one of a kind, just right up the street. And we want to build another building somewhere in the U.S. We're considering, if you look at the next page, our U.S. footprint. We're in 16 locations across the U.S. And it says 15 here, but we just made an acquisition. But we want to grow and double our business. And where this new manufacturing plant is, I'm here today to see if we can just talk about whether we can have some consideration from the council for incentives or abatements so that we can put it here. We have an amazing facility. This new building, if you turn the page, just skip 2 pages over, and Mike, you can come up and talk about it, but it will be a 152,000 square foot building. We will create jobs wherever we put this plant, and we want to just continue our growth in the U.S. Grunfos is we're 21,000 people. We're 1,600 in the U.S., and our plant in Brookshire and our U.S. headquarters has over 250 people. So that's a little bit about Grunfos and why we're here tonight. But I want to bring up Mike, who is, again, our facilities manager for all of our sites in the U.S., just to talk about this particular 100 square foot facility that we want to build in the U.S. and potentially in Brookshire. So thank you for your time and consideration. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So if you look at the second part of the presentation there, where we start to have some conceptual drawings and some ideas of what we'd like to do and what we could potentially do with the property that we own in Brookshire here. There are some renderings that show the size of the facility, the addition. It's just a little bit larger than what we currently have already for production space. So it would be doubling that space, would not be doubling the population or the employment, but it certainly would be the first step to growth in Brookshire for Grunfos. This facility, the design of it is a Danish design, and the way they design these are like, to make it brutally simple, it's like modular homes. You could start stacking them on top of each other. So they call these ships, and this original design is 2 ships with the concept to be able to build it out, and the property would allow us to build it out to 4 or 5 ships. So that would be over the next 5 to 10 years, depending on what our economy does after today. But I think it speaks to our commitment to Brookshire, our commitment to what we see as a vision in Brookshire. We've worked closely with the city. We've been involved with, Ansel's very active in our local groups, works with the Royal High School, and we've had a lot of the students and them back in and hired from those groups when we can. And that would be, again, a more of a opportunity that we would see. Initially, once we get this facility built, we're probably only talking about 30 jobs, but as time goes on, we're looking that over the course of the first 7 to 10 years, we'll be up another 160 people. So it offers something to the city, I think, from that perspective. Additionally, and I'm hearing about water and I'm hearing about water concerns, we are very sustainable in our designs and what we do. Our building today uses only roughly 25%, probably, if I'm being brutally honest, of the municipal water supply that you would typically have for a site that size, for a building that size that we put in 2020. And that will mirror into the new designs as well, that will have rainwater harvesting, have sustainable design, use that water for heating and cooling and gray water flushing, things of that nature. You can see, I've tried to give you some of the renderings and some of the details showing, again, we use pretty much a standard footprint that we have for all of our buildings that we have in the U.S. and in all over the world, actually. So you can see the concept that we have for our production office spaces, our coffee and break room areas, all very nice, very accommodating features for the employees and for the people that would be employed there, as well as for some of our guests. The drawings that are behind that are some of the facades. So you can see, looking from the east, what we would see in the rendering. And then if we page back the south facade, the north facade, I put a little bit in there that kind of covers some of the construction that we would be doing, because this would be very similar to other plants we have in the world, just bringing our products into the U.S. And some of those products that are phased to be built in this new production site would be what you see on that picture there. And then the last picture I have, I think, is a nice representation of what you would see coming off of 90. This is what the front of the building would look like. So I think it's very appealing. What we're asking for is to have this space, that area, considered as a reinvestment zone so that we could apply for tax abatement. I'm open to any questions or anything that anybody may have.
Thank you all for that presentation. I think Grunfos is an excellent example of a good business relationship, a good company that has been really a good benefit for the city of Brookshire. I mean, I pass by there, your place is always nice and neat and clean. You're working with the school district, providing jobs for the community, and you're generating tax revenue for the city. So we welcome your what you're doing here, and we look forward to working with you all.
We appreciate
That's my
that.
opinion. Yeah.
I agree. I've had the opportunity to tour the facility after you built the first building. I didn't know pumps were that big. So those are some really big pumps. I just want to say thank you for moving your headquarters to our community in thinking about community and expanding in our community. So I'm all on board with working with you guys and with the expansion.
You mentioned the Royal School District. If you go to Friday Night Lights football game, the scoreboard,
Right.
that digital scoreboard,
Yep.
Yes.
made a donation for that. I got to flip the coin and got the paint under my eyes, so that was fun. But we work closely with not only the school district, but the hangar. Yesterday, we were there. We gave them a donation to get a freezer, because they do the food pantry. And you know how the line is wrapped around that building, but we donated the freezer for that one. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
But I know we have a packed agenda. Thank you for your consideration. If you ever need a tour, leads, jobs, please go to our website, grunfos.com. We're gonna double our business, but we'll be happy. He gives tours almost every day. And you're welcome. Thank you all for stopping by. But if you go to an Astros game, just think about Grunfos. We're moving that water. Those big pumps are
Wow.
moving pressure booster pumps, so it stays cool and that you can flush and have that water move. But have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Excellent. All right. Item number 6. Consider and take action on consent agenda items listed under the consent agenda and considered routine and are generally enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule occurs when a council member requests one or more items removed for the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. And listed below, A, minutes for the regular council meeting on March 8, 2025, March 6, 2025. B, minutes of special council meeting on March 27, 2025. City Secretary Report, February 2025. Brookshire Police Report, monthly report, February 2025. Municipal Courts Report, February 2025. Public Works Report, 2025. G, Bills Pay Report, February 2025. H, Revenue Expense Report, February 2025. LJ Engineering Report. I, J, Code Enforcement Report. K, Assessment of Southwest Tax Report, January and February 2025. I, Grant Works Report on grant funding projects, ARPA, Mid-Martin, and Sidewalk. Do we have anyone that would like to remove some items? I would, I know, but
Do we need
Do
to
we have any-
remove item K? I saw there was some additional information that came out with questions from Scott Industries regarding that. Do we need to remove it to have discussion?
I would like to have discussion on item K. Also, the city secretary report, Brookshire Police Department report D, Public Works report, bills paid, revenue expense, LGA, and assessment of Southwest and Grant Works reports. I would like to have discussion on those reports. Is there anyone that would like to have discussions on any other reports?
So we're going to remove C, D, F,
G,
G, I, and K,
G, H, I,
H,
K, and L.
and L.
And L.
Okay. Well, we probably just got to through.
So the only thing we have left is,
So with the exception of those particular ones that we mentioned removed, I'd like to make a motion to approve A, minutes for regular city council meeting on March 6th. B, minutes for regular city council meeting on March 27th. E, municipal courts report, February 2025. And J, code enforcement report. I'd like to make a motion I'd like to make a motion to approve those reports.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. City Secretary report.
Yes, sir.
Do we have the Tesla agreement completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It has been signed and executed and sent over to all the necessary parties.
Okay. The election agreement, joint agreement with the election agreement and contract for elections completed?
It has been
Waller?
signed, executed, and sent over to the necessary parties.
Okay. That's all I have for that. Thank you. The Brookshire Police Department report.
Do you want to approve them as you go along, or you don't wait, try to approve them all at the end?
We can wait and prove them all, yeah. Mr. Hines.
Mayor Pro Tem, before you leave off of the city secretary, I have, at the bottom of it, if I could get council to look at those dates, things that I need the council to do. We need to pass an ordinance for the 2024-2025 approved budget. The council did approve the budget, but we never passed an ordinance. We need to make sure that we do that. And if we can get Olson to draw up a ordinance.
Okay.
And also, we need to schedule a date for mid-budget review. I gave you 3 dates. If y'all could just email me individually what date you prefer, we can see about getting that set up for you. And the next thing, I would like for y'all to review the tax abatement application from Grunfos, please. So those are the things that I need you to,
Is a copy of the
into.
proposed ordinance included in the packet?
no, not yet, no. I need to get with Olson.
Okay,
The tax
Just-
abatement for Grunfos is in the packet.
that is in the packet, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
it is.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hines. Could you come up to the podium, please? So I noticed on your report here, there was some theft at the 18-wheeler ramps.
Yes, sir. On Empire?
Is that at Empire?
Yes, sir.
And then again, is that the same? Because we had problems last month with some thefts going on. And I just want to make sure that when we do have 18-wheelers coming to visit a truck stop and coming to visit our city, that they know that their equipment is safe. And I see that it did go down now. So I guess we're making some differences with night shift coverage.
We are.
We are,
Yes, sir.
okay.
I was going to provide that information on next month's report, but what I will tell you, since our last discussion with the overtime monies that we have, I think was it the 1st of March, Captain, that we started that? So basically what we've done in order to enhance our staffing and improve our visibility on the street, we've opened up overtime opportunities. And basically what we've done, we have 3 initiatives. So our guys, if our officers want to come in, if they want to come in early, a couple of hours, or work late a couple of hours, they can get overtime. So that's the overtime initiative. The second initiative is a traffic enforcement initiative. So and also what I will say, the overtime is also available to those officers if they want to come in and work on their day off. The traffic initiative works the same way. The last initiative is a crime reduction initiative. Should we, like we had those burglaries that you may be referencing that we had a couple of months ago.
Right.
We had to, if there's something that we can address, and we're going to leave that up to our criminal investigation division, but if they develop some crime trends that we can actually follow and attack, then we'll open up a crime reduction initiative and have those officers come in and work specific times and target those specific areas where we may be having problems.
Okay.
So you'll see that on my report in March. And you're going to see an extreme You'll see our overtime for February is $505, and it's going to be in the thousands
Yeah.
for March.
It's okay, because you, right now, how many vacancies do you still have?
6.
6.
Yes, sir.
So the overtime will offset the vacancies, because we're not paying the salaries for those officers that we budget for anyway.
Yeah, but we have a robust overtime budget.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But it will offset, because the salaries that you originally would have for those 6 officers is a savings, so the overtime will offset that, yeah. I see there's 2 new policies that you all put in place here.
Yes, sir.
Hiring procedures and secondary employment. Can you send those to council for review, please?
Yes, sir. I've sent them to the mayor.
You did?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, have you implemented these yet?
Sir?
Have you implemented these yet?
On the first, I think the hiring, yes, we have.
Yeah, if you could,
The hiring procedures is a TCO mandate
mhm.
by the Commission on Law Enforcement. So, yes, that's been implemented. There's 3 of them, actually, that have to be submitted to the state by June 1st.
Right.
So that's one of them. The secondary employment, basically what that means is extra jobs.
Okay.
And our guidelines.
Okay.
So, in the future, are you asking that I send?
Well, Ms. Corner, if you could send those to council so we could review and
Sir.
see what's, yeah. That's it.
All right.
Thank you. Public Works Report. I asked for that to be removed, just to let council know that the dump truck that was out of service, it's been approved for repair. It should be ready in a couple of days, okay? All right, moving right along. Bills paid report. I just have a couple of questions for Ms. Natalie.
Natalie.
And it may be chief too. There's $14,740 for JDK Industries, the property room. Is that a remodel?
I wouldn't call it a remodel. It's a modification to empty space. The ceiling needed to be. The property and evidence room, the ceiling, it had a ceiling like this with tiles in it, and it needs to be secured. So the ceiling was, I guess, we added about another 2 feet so that we have room to bring shelves up higher, more space. But the ceiling and the sides, they framed it, and then they decked it.
Oh, okay.
Rather than, so nobody can come in from the ceilings in the, like, let's say dispatch or from anywhere else in the building. If somebody were able to get in our building or come in the lobby, go through the ceiling, they wouldn't be able to get into
Oh,
our,
okay. That makes sense.
into our property and evidence room.
Okay, thank you.
That is gonna be, also, that's funded through, seized money. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Natalie.
That's it, sir?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Okay, the LJA engineering report. Hello.
How are you?
I meant to skip it, yeah. Okay, so it's been a while. Could you quickly let us know your projects here that you have listed on your report? I noticed, one thing I'm concerned about is the outfalls in Lakeside. Did we determine if that's an HOA-owned property or city-owned?
It's not city-owned, but the HOA is also not claiming it either, so, but it is not city-owned, so we can't touch them.
So the HOA is not claiming that they own it, and the city don't own it either. So who owns it?
It's the HOA, but
Well, that's what I thought, HOA. So are we, and I think, Mr. Olson, what can we do now? Because this, from what I understand from reading this report, is becoming a really bad issue here. So what can we legally do now to get this resolved?
Well, we could approach the HOA and ask them if they'd like to grant us a right to do work in that.
Can we approach the HOA and ask them to repair the problem?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Demand it. You don't have to ask them.
yeah, I'd like to demand it, because if they relinquish it, then we will financially have to repair it, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's my opinion. I mean, I'm only one voice, but if we could do that. And 12th Street drainage improvements. Could you let us know what's going on with that? And I think 10th Street also, both of those have some drainage for development or something.
So I think the land developer for a tract along 12th Street is basically wanting to develop stuff. And so they want to widen it and improve it. And essentially they're asking if y'all would cover widening and improving it so that they can have better drainage.
Do we have a cost?
Is attachment D? Have the cost on it? No, but we can get one.
Okay. And could we get a cost to widen and improve, and how wide and how long what is the length, to see if it's even feasible to do it? Because as I understand, some companies that come in, they can contribute to that, right? Just depending on what we negotiate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can come back to us with a cost on that.
Okay.
And the master thoroughfare plan, your recommendation is to redo the plan, from what I'm reading here?
Pretty much, yeah.
But I think the plan only costs to be redone every 5 years, and it hadn't exceeded that yet. Why would you recommend redoing the plan?
Because there's a lot of things missing, a lot of things have changed, I mean, there's a previous engineer, so, plus, y'all keep asking us to change things, and at this point, or you've asked us to, go through it again, and I guess we don't understand, are you wanting us to make improvements on their suggestions, or you want us to go through the suggestions? I mean,
Well,
Well, I think a few of those streets really need to be looked at. If I can remember, it was approved, but we never really went through it thoroughly back then, and this is why we keep running into these issues. It was a lot put in there, and there was a lot changed from the previous ordinances that was put in there. So going through it again probably wouldn't be a bad idea. That way we can actually get it the way we see it now, because a lot has changed since that was approved.
yeah.
I
They
would
have
agree
streets
with that.
turning into
We-
major thoroughfares that don't need to turn into major thoroughfares. They have streets that aren't turning into major thoroughfares that do need to, there's a
Yes.
lot of things that need to change as far as those roads classifications go.
And just as council, we've already discussed several,
Yeah.
several items where that has just
Yeah.
been wrong. So it obviously is in need of some pretty major
Major.
corrections.
And
And if
so
we're
at
gonna
that
have that
point,
much major correction, you're saying it'd be just easier to redo the whole thing.
Correct. Yes.
okay. And just for the public knowledge, so the thoroughfare roads are the roads that run like 12th Street and 10th Street that run through the city, that with all the growth that's coming, with textile expansions and all the growth and the population growth, it is estimated to believe that there's a lot of traffic that's going to be in this area. And some of those roads will need to be either widened, If not, then at some point with all of the traffic and all the people, when you try to get out of your driveway or go to work, it's just been a constant traffic jam on 12th, 10th, and all those streets. So that's what the Thoroughfare plan is about. And it also ties into the Waller County transportation plan and some other plans as well. And this plan was done by a previous engineering company, and it's been talked about a few times. We need to go back through this and look at it again and just update it. And you all will provide a quote for that from what I see here? Okay. Okay, I think that's all I have for your report.
I have something. I'm looking right here on South Street.
Okay.
3608, 3612, 3616,
On the permits?
3620. I think you know how I feel about that one.
Yep.
So, and I never got a straight answer. How did that get approved?
So, as you'll notice, the only ones that are approved as far as those particular houses go, it's like a row of 6, I think, right, or 7, right? Only the 2 outside ones got approved because they're still trying to connect the inside ones. And, you know, I know we talked about driveways not going across South Street or the ditch, right?
Yes.
And so theirs are going outward on the other side of to the 2 connecting streets. And then they're going to propose essentially a shared access drive, but that kicks them into commercial. And so that means detention. And so him trying to figure out how to provide detention for those middle houses is going to be hard for him. So right now, those remain unapproved by us and by BKDD.
Okay.
Only the 2 middle ones, which are residential and connect outside are the approved ones.
Okay.
Because technically, they don't fall into I guess it's not really commercial, but they have enough concrete with the shared access drive that they would have to provide detention for those houses, the middle houses or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item K, assessment of Southwest tax report, January and February. And I think we have them here.
Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
And so just for the public's knowledge, assessment of Southwest is the tax collector, right?
Correct.
For the city of Brookshire, right? Tax collector, assessor?
Assessor collector, correct.
Assessor collector. And we want to review what we have and talk about the services that you all provide.
Okay. So what we do is we basically send out the tax bills. We get the information from the appraisal district, all the values, and then we put that in our system, and then we send out the tax bills to the property owners inside the jurisdiction. We work with the mortgage companies as well, and then we provide reports to the city council, obviously, and distribute checks as necessary and the funds over to your general fund. In a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. And we work with the homeowners on how do they get their homesteads. We get a lot of questions on how do you apply for over 65s. We point them in that direction and do things like that and basically provide any services that the homeowners would like.
And how long have your services, Brookshire's contract with your service, do I see 3 years or 2.5 years?
I think it'll be 3 years in this fall, yeah, so it's been a few years, correct.
3 years. And what do you collect? And I know the numbers probably go up and down. What do you collect? What have you collected for taxes in those 3 years, if you recall? Would that be 2022, 23, and 24?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
And what did you all collect?
So overall collections as far as dollar amounts, so you're looking at probably, this year right now, we've collected over $5.1 million. Last year, it looks like it was like 5.25 million, right in there. Year before that was 4.1. So on our report, if you look on our third page of our report, so what you'll see is, if you go over there to collections, that's the current year collections. That's just for 2024 tax year. So you can see the top row item says 5,161,439. That's what we've collected just this year for your property taxes.
2024.
2024, that's correct. So below it is the collections in this tax year, because the reports are broken out by tax year. So you can see your balance is 200,000, but your total levy was about 5.3, so we collected about 5.1 last year for 2023. So between basically October 1st to 9/30, that's kind of what the tax year is. So that's the time frame for that.
Is that residential and commercial?
That's correct.
Residential,
That's
commercial.
correct. It's any property inside your boundaries of the city that's not exempt.
And so, what is your fee?
Our fee is, we do a per parcel fee. And so our fee is it's 98 cents a parcel. So we charge basically, it's $12 a parcel per year. So it's 98 cents per month per parcel.
Give me that in dollars. If you collect 5 point so million, what is your fee to collect 5 point?
So we bill quarterly, so let's call it 9, so it's gonna be probably about $35,000 for our fee
Per year?
per year, correct.
So $35,000 is the fee to collect $5.2 million in taxes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Roughly, I'm just doing rough
Roughly,
numbers off
right.
the top of my head, correct.
Okay. Well,
And we pay all your CAD bills as well out of your tax account, so you don't have to worry about that, and refund any homeowners, disabled vets, we send that stuff back and all that information as well.
okay. One other question I have, a few of the residents reached out to me personally. Well, I think to Mr. Green, and had mentioned they paid their taxes and didn't show up. Is
I
that
think it was in
correct?
23. They were having issues with, they can't sell the property. They're trying to sell the house,
Okay,
but there's no way they can sell it because,
taxes are owed on it?
for whatever reason, the money's missing.
Okay, I'll look into, can you send me that account? Because basically what we do inside is if they receive payments, we document all that stuff. We have a scanning system. We scan all the payments that come in. So we process all that, so I can easily look up and see what's happened. So, and if it's cleared their account, then we'll be able to see it in our system as a scanned document. And we balance our monthly statements to our system. And so we have checks and balances in place so that theft cannot happen. I do about 250 different districts in the Houston area. And so we have very robust systems in place. We did have an issue where we had one person that was slow processing payments. So they all sent a check in on the 31st and they didn't get it processed until like the 20th of February. So that person has been reprimanded and disciplined accordingly, and we've put new processes in place so that doesn't happen again. But if somebody has a check that they said they've sent into my office and they're saying it's cleared their bank, we have processes for that. So what I wanted to do is, number one, see who actually cashed the check, because we have electronic digital prints. And if somebody has caught that check, which has happened, y'all know that mail is bad, right? The whitewashing is bad. We actually have had districts where they've whitewashed the check and cashed it, but it was somebody's signature on the back, and they've whitewashed the Mud District's name out of it or the city's name out of it and cashed it to themselves. So I'd like to see more information on exactly who that is and stuff, and I'll definitely find out what's going on in that instance. But yes,
Do you have a business card?
I do not. I ran out of them, but I will definitely email you the information. She has all my stuff, and it's got my cell phone and my business, and
Okay.
you can email me, and I will definitely get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Sure.
I would like to have a more detailed conversation
Absolutely.
about what was shared with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Does anybody have any more questions?
There was an issue that came up with Scott Industries. Scott
Correct.
Industries apparently mailed a check on the last day that the payment was due, but didn't get postmarked until February 1st, and I guess that generated a late fee for
Right,
them?
so the property tax code says that if we go by postmark, that's what we have to do by law. So the 31st was a Friday. So when my office does is we come explain the tax code to them, and they're like, well, I want to talk to somebody else, and they talk to somebody else, and then they say, well, I want to find out who has the last say in everything. Well, either the city council does or the boards do. So we're like, the only way that you can do this is if you can pay it, send us a good faith check, send us a letter stating what you want to do, and we'll present it, and let the board or the council make the decision. I can tell you that we see this all the time, where they probably forgot it, took it to the post office at 9 o'clock on Friday night, postmark didn't get done till the next morning. That is delinquent by law. There's no reason to waive the penalty and interest, so my recommendation would be to not to deny that. It's about $500 fee to them, but it's a $500 lesson that they will probably not do again. It's just, if you set a precedence of start doing this, what you're gonna start doing is people saying it all the time and then paying the taxes late, so. But it's something we see a lot. There's no error on our issue. There was an error on the CAD's issue. The address was correct. He admittedly put it in the post office late, and they postmarked it. Next year, he'll probably walk in and get it postmarked while they're still open and get your money on time.
What is the amount that Scott usually pay for taxes?
So this year, they paid about, I've got that. So they're paying, well, let's see, that's 150 and so 3750, so about $8,000. It's going to cost them about $500 in penalty and interest. And that's all statutory. That's not anything that y'all do. That's all the Texas Property Tax Code.
Right.
February 1st is 7%.
These aren't rules we made.
That
This
is
the-
correct. This is the state law. Every ad valorem taxing jurisdiction in the state has to go by this.
Okay.
And there's laws for penalty and interest waiver and all that stuff too. And it's basically we have to mess up or something has to happen.
Okay, anyone have any more questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along, item I, Grant Works reports grant funded projects, ARPA, mid-mod, sidewalk. Hello?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem
Good
and
evening.
Brookshire City Council.
Good evening.
Thank you for having us tonight. Included within your packets are 3 reports based on the 3 different funding streams the city has undertaken. I'm your friendly ARPA PM for ARPA directly. The city has expended about 45% of their ARPA funds, with the remainder going toward the ARPA Roads project. And I have LJA engineers to talk more about that one as well, and to talk more any questions you have.
And for the public's knowledge, could you explain the American Plan Rescue Act, which is ARPA?
Sure.
So they would know, everyone would know what that means.
The American Rescue Plan Act was a law initiated by President Biden back in 2021. It's a stimulus bill to recover from the pandemic. Every city and county across the state of Texas and the United States received an allocation to stimulate the economy.
Thank you. So,
The funds need to be spent by the end of 2026, December 31, 2026. The funds are obligated under the memorandum of understanding that y'all passed back in November of 2024. That locked y'all into the ARPA Roads project.
right, and I see that quite a bit, a large sum of the money was spent on police emergency stuff, and we got past all that. So we're down to the roads. There's about $655,000 left from what I can see here.
505.
505 left. And LJA, I think we we had identified some specific roads that we wanted to get repaired. And could you let us know where are we on those?
So on the exhibit, we have highlighted basically the identified roads that y'all would like to see repaired. As you can tell, the most expensive one is Kenny.
Yeah.
And I would like to point out that cost does not actually repair the road base. The road base is to remain the same. If we were to repair the road base, all of the ARPA money would be used
All the
on
other
one
ones.
road.
So what does this cost for then? Overlay?
Overlay for the entire road for that one.
And
Basically, we're milling it and redoing it, yeah.
how long is that gonna last since we're not gonna do the road base?
I would have to look into the actual years that it might last, yeah. I mean,
Years.
I can't say for sure because we don't know how much road base is left or what the actual state is until we cut into it, unfortunately.
So we have Kenny from Stallnick, Waller to East Purdy, Kenny to Stallnick, Waller to East Purdy, and Kenny to Stallnick? That's
No, Second Street
Second
from
s-
Waller to east of Purdy, Second Street from Kenny to Stallneck,
and then
Third Street from
okay.
Waller to east of Purdy, Third Street from Kenny to Stallneck, Depot from Kenny to Stallneck, Fifth Street, Baines, 10th Street, 11th Street, and 13th Street.
Okay, good. So how what's the next steps in getting this done? Because we need road repairs very, very bad here. So what is the next
Biggest
steps?
problem I see is that we got $665,000 of expenses and
Yes.
$505,000 of money. So we're gonna have to determine as a council which of these projects we
Yeah.
wanna cut,
Right?
get down into budget, right?
Essentially, yeah.
But what is the next steps in getting any of it, starting on something? What is the next steps?
Y'all have to authorize what you want.
And then I thought we did that already.
No, you
No.
Yeah,
like you
okay.
authorize what streets you want repaired. We went out and gave you basically what
Okay.
we could do for those streets, but now you have to actually authorize us bidding out those streets.
Okay, and I know we don't
repairs.
have enough, okay. So we just need to authorize bidding out on the streets, and then what's the next step?
After bidding, they would go into construction and repair.
Okay, and do you think, estimate foresee that we'll meet the deadline of 2026 with this project?
Yeah, we could.
Okay, and, okay, we had put a public notice out and all that to let the residents know there'll be construction in the area and all that, the things. So we need to pick these roads. Can we do that now and just,
Was this enough on the agenda that we can move on this, Mr. Olson, or do we need to wait and do this next, or in 2 weeks?
We should be able to move on, it's already on the agenda.
no,
But we need to decide, because we're gonna have to cut something out of this. So,
well, I mean,
I think
can
go
we
ahead and
just,
decide.
can we just decide and authorize so we can move forward? Because we keep stalling this out to the next meeting.
If we
can
I
just-
think it would be great if we could. And it seems to me, I mean, I hate to do this because the one that needs it the most is Kenny. But it's also the one that if we cut it, everything else pretty much gets done.
Well, 10th and 11th Street, is it 10th and 13th that we have here for the drainage problem? Which one has a drainage problem? 10th and 13th, it was on the other report?
10th and 12th.
10th and 12th, so 10th is gonna need additional work anyway, right?
It was drainage, yeah.
Because of the drainage.
Right, but that's only $28,000 out of the whole kit and caboodle. We've got to cut 160,000.
11th Street's 81,000.
Yeah, 11th Street, but 11th Street isn't in need of the drainage issues.
It's 81,000, I mean. So can we cut 11th Street and was it 5th? Because 5th is 86,000. Was that almost 200 right there.
For 5th Street, my glasses are driven.
5th.
Yeah. So 5th Street is 43,000.
Fifth Street is 86,000.
That's Baines. My trifocals are failing me here, let me just. 86. Fifth Street, so Fifth Street is 86,000, yeah.
And then
11th is
13th,
81.
11th is 81.
Yeah.
That's almost 200.
So if you cut Fifth and 11th,
Cut 11th
that
and what
would do
else?
it as well.
Yeah.
But Kenny is not gonna be, the 146 we're gonna spend on Kenny isn't gonna solve the problem. It's gonna delay the problem.
I'll say this, in the past, we've gone out for bids, and I remember seeing there was a huge price difference in some of these bids for some the streets that we paved in the past that made it feasible for us to actually get it done. Now, it's possible we just go out for bids for everything on here, and we may still be within budget. That way we don't have to cut anything out.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
And then,
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as Kenny Street, you ask how long will it last? I've seen when floods come, they just destroy
Yeah.
roads.
Okay.
I
So
like
we
the
go.
idea, if we go out for bid for everything, and we say, and we tell them, but we wanna bid on everything, but we may not be able to cover the scope of that?
Yes, there would be a way to structure it where the base bid would be certain levels of streets, and then add alternatives would be ones that council could take action after the bids come in, sort of after the fact, to add them on to the base bid.
Okay. Is that your motion, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, LJA, you have the approval. Move forward. Thank you all. Oh, yeah. You still have something for us, right? About these other, not LJA. Yeah. Yeah. Mid-Mod. I'm sorry, Mid-Mod, yeah. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. How are y'all?
Hello?
How you doing?
Good. So I manage the MITMOD and the TDA for the city with GrantWorks. So for the MITMOD, where's Adam? Okay. Essentially, the environmental review has
Oh,
begun.
I'm sorry. For the public's knowledge, could you explain what the Mid-Mod is?
Yes, sir. So mitigation grants are typically awarded by the General Land Office, and they're for issues such as like, projects that would help fund, flood drainage, things like that. So this is what that one
Right.
has to do with
And-
the ditch improvements.
And this is a $1.3 million project,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. And I think this project was for what, 4 roads? 4 roads and detention pond. Is that correct? 4 roads and detention pond.
Yes. So basically, the environmental review has begun on this project. We've started consulting all the agencies required to basically get approval so we can get environmental clearance to start construction on the project. Agency letters were sent to the city for the mayor's signature on April 1st, and I believe city legal is looking them over. So,
He's already approved them.
oh, awesome. Okay. Okay. So after that, we should get the plans from Blyle, and then we'll be able to continue the environmental review process. So that way, we can present it to GLO, clear it, and then have the approval to start the project. But I'll let Adam kind of take over real quick.
I'm gonna move over here if y'all don't mind, so I can keep hitting next. Good evening, council. Thanks for having me. My name's Adam Vento. I'm project manager for the engineering side of this project. As you mentioned, it's 4 roads, and being done in conjunction with a regional detention project that is being funded through Waller County. So it's kind of a different team, but the two mesh together is the original concept. I'll be very brief and just kind of bring you up to speed on where we're at and what we're working on. So the 4 roads we're talking about are over there on the northeast side of the city. We're talking about Stella Road, 1st Street, 4th Street, and Stockneck. As you all know, that area of the city is flat as a pancake. It all tries to drain out to Brookshire Creek, which parallels Stalkneck Road. The intention of this 1.3 million, which at first glance sounds like a lot, but when you talk drainage and citywide drainage really is relatively minimal, is to essentially improve the drainage at the downstream end of these, the main three, I'll say Stella, First, and Fourth. Maximize what we have there right now within the right-of-way, and try to get things draining a little bit better for your more frequent storm events. Eliminate street ponding, roadway ponding, and some of those intersections. There's some areas you got culverts that are completely buried, never been given attention probably for over 50 years. And so to get everything kind of working cohesively, and this also gives you a stub out to continue future work further to the west if you want to tie into this in the future with more regrading.
Sorry, could you go back to that slide?
Yes, sir.
Where's the detention pond? Or have you not gotten that yet?
That is not, I don't believe, 100% settled. The initial location, I don't know if I can point, but I'll run over here. The initial location that was floated around was this tract of land. I don't know if the county has acquired that yet. We have contact information from the county and their engineer, and so the intention is the two mesh together, but what they're doing really doesn't affect what we're doing in, from a design sense. So I can follow up with you on that and get more information.
Okay, because that detention pond, seems the water will have to run uphill to get to it. Or is it meant to stop the drainage from further up?
Yes, sir.
Not drain down? Is that
yes,
why
sir.
That's why it's way up there and not down?
Yes, their intention, I believe, is to siphon runoff off of Brookshire Creek, capture it, store it temporarily to relieve Brookshire Creek.
Okay.
But again, I will follow up with a little more information.
I'll say this. Above that, there's another ditch that runs from 362 that drains everything from 362 around the school, around the rice fields, all the way back up to 529. Mm-hmm. And that runs right across there and goes in.
On the north side of that track, right?
A shallow part of the ditch on Stalnick Road. That retention pond may grab some of that water, but it's a lot.
I know that was discussed initially with that track right there. This was before it got split up into county and city portion of the funds. The initial intention was do an all-in-one project, and then I think because of a lot of red tape issues that became really complex. And so, but again, the two generally work together, but they're not codependent in the sense like one can happen and it not be, non-functional because the other project is not yet constructed.
Okay.
I'll kind of breeze through this. That was kind of a repeat. So what's not included, because I know, Mayor Pro Tem, you've had some calls and you've called me about this. So at this time, we're not doing any right-of-way acquisition, easement acquisition, no disturbance to private property. Everything's within the right-of-way, no floodplain revisions. The regional attention's handled by the county. Any general utility improvements we're trying to avoid. There's through the mud, there's a mess of information available and not available about what's under the ground there, and so we've had an extensive survey and collection of data with what's in the right-of-way. To the best of our knowledge right now, we're not going to be relocating anything. We're just working around what's there. No roadway improvements or other miscellaneous drainage improvements within private properties. So what will this accomplish? It's relatively self-explanatory, but we're just going to basically maximize what you have there. That's what this next slide shows, is kind of my rough general section. Is over time these ditches silt in. They're pretty low grade and flat to begin with. Basically, we're looking at all of the right-of-ways are variable width, but looking at the current utilities within those areas and just maximizing the width of what we can fit there, shed water off the road, give it more depth, and let it hopefully drain a little more efficiently out to the creek. Here's kind of an example. This is actually one of the better sections. I believe this is the end of First Street near Stalkneck. I'm looking back west. But just kind of a general example is what we're talking about is not too substantial. We're talking about taking the existing ditches, adding culverts wherever those are the choke points, widening out the bottom of the ditch, we're fairly limited on what we can deepen the ditch. And so just trying to maximize the width that you currently have available within the right-of-way. And then brings us to where we are now. We're in the middle of design. I'll say we're actually on the tail end of design. We're getting very close. Within a matter of, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks, going to issue a 90% plan set for internal review. We're going to pass that off to Ms. Price and the GrantWorks team for their environmental review. That really gets the ball rolling towards the finish line. We are looking for an early, I would say, Q3 bidding on this if everything runs smoothly from here. But like I said, I'd say we're at 85–90% right now on the design side of things. And then get bid sometime, beginning of the second half of this year, go into construction hopefully during the dry months is the intention. I don't know if you haven't, I don't think you have it in front of you, but if any of you have been provided the initial schedule, we're still on schedule. Everything got kicked off from the initiation phase of signing the contract late. So we started about a month late. I would say we're still on schedule. We're still on that initial project schedule in the design phase. So to the best of our extent possible, we're going to stick to that schedule. I believe that's all I have. So any questions, anything like that? I left Ms. Glover some cards here. Y'all are welcome to reach out to me, reach out to Ms. Price. Happy to help.
I don't have any question. I know this is a long shot. Every time I get the opportunity, I bring this up. After you do the work, that should increase the flow of the water on those roads going to Brookshire Creek.
Mm-hmm.
That may increase the flow, make it flow a little faster. The problem we've always had, McAllister Road, where the railroad is, it narrowed down. So if you see Brookshire Creek, it's the drainage district made it wide, made it really beautiful. It's pretty, but then it gets right to the railroad, and then it narrows down. That's where it bottlenecks, and then it pushes back and it floods Brookshire Garden. My mom's house flooded 3 times, 98, 16, and Harvey. And that's always been the main problem, right there at the railroad.
Stallneck and Fourth?
I'm sorry?
Is that like right at Stallneck and Fourth, that area? Is that by the railroad there?
Just south.
Yeah.
Is that?
Stallneck and Depot where it stops and gets smaller.
At Depot, okay.
On McAllister Road.
On McAllister?
Very, very, just out of view, bottom right there is where he's talking.
Yeah, and we haven't been able to get anywhere with that. If the drainage district was ever able to open that up some, it would actually allow that water to flow through a lot faster. Now, there's another way the water can actually go underneath the railroad, but it's further down on Depot, and I think it's by Rouse. And there's some culverts that run underneath there to 90. That's never really been maintained either. Have you got a chance to look at that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm generally familiar, yes, sir. I've driven through this area we've been working on this since 23, so I'm familiar with the culverts and the choke point on Depot where it crosses the creek, yes, sir.
So how is increasing the flow really gonna?
So that's a good question. The intent of this project is really not for the caliber of storms that you're probably referring to where you've noticed major flooding from the creek.
Yeah.
The intent of this is more your few inches of rain. The ditch holds water for more than a day.
Right.
It doesn't drain out efficiently. This is kind of your everyday run-of-the-mill storm event, improve the system. The brutal truth is this portion of the city is within the floodplain, some in the floodway. There's not a magic solution, especially locally, that will fix that. What you're talking is much more regional, would require FEMA's involvement, would likely require the Corps to be involved because of jurisdictional waters, would certainly require Brookshire Katy Drainage District. This project was brought to us by previous councils several iterations back, so it was it was relatively already thought through of, hey, we're having some poor local drainage, and I want to stick to that term, local drainage, because yes, you're correct. This will not solve the broad drainage problem for this neighborhood when it rains 5, 6, 7+ inches.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's not my point.
sorry.
My point, and this is what I said. I like to throw it out there all the time. Our issue is the railroad. The railroad. If we can get any help with the railroad,
In my experience, drainage with railroads is
Good luck.
bordering on impossible.
Good luck.
Yeah.
The railroads are damn.
and that's the answer I get every time.
If you find the magic solution, please let me know, because I have many other projects that would benefit from cooperation from the railroad. But no, you're 100% accurate. That is a choke point, and the unfortunate scenario is they almost operate under their own rules and procedures and guidelines, and they're almost a quasi-governmental entity in their own right. So
Yeah. The railroad's a dam. It's a dam.
Mhm.
That's the water. That's basically what it is.
that's an issue that plagues many small cities. Many.
Okay, who's the project manager?
I am, sir.
Okay, and then who's the project manager for city admin, city of Brookshire? It's Glover. Okay. That's all I know. All right, sir, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Who, sidewalk? Who's doing the sidewalk grant?
For the engineer, I have to call.
And just for public knowledge, the sidewalk grant, I think it started on as a museum district grant, excuse me, and it ended up moving on this side of the street to be done here in front of City Hall. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So it's had a couple of different kind of scopes in the process. I've been on it for the last year or so. So I can kind of speak to the current situation. So the Texas Department of Agriculture gave us this grant for a downtown revitalization project. So essentially, you know, it's just sidewalk improvements and the lighting currently that's around the area. So essentially now Centerpoint was trying to connect the lights to finish the project because we're nearing completion, which is great. But they ran into a problem installing the wiring. So there's a foundation out there that has to be removed, and that's what that change order is in the packet. So Petra gave a quote. Oh, sorry.
There's a foundation.
Yes, sir.
On this side of the road, or?
It's basically on this side, and it's blocking the Centerpoint has to essentially like rewire because the foundation's in the middle, and it's posing a public safety risk because their energized conductors on the foundation are exposed, so they're worried that's obviously not safe. So they want to take that foundation out and then be able to go under and reconnect the wiring, so then that last light can be put in, because it's also missing a bulb, if y'all noticed. So they would splice those two runs of conduit together under the ground, and then they'd pull new string line through, so that way the wire would connect and then get that last light up and running.
And so it says pending January 2025, weather permitting. Centerpoint lighting installation still pending January 20th, 2025, weather permitting.
So that was from our February update. They've actually gotten some done, but they had to stall based on those safety issues, and that's what the change order's for. So Petra provided a quote, the contractor, for the change order to get that foundation out so we could finish the lighting.
Okay, and that's the quote we got today, we received today. And once that's done, the quote's done, and we agree on that, what is the next steps?
Yes, sir. So essentially, that would be, the grant end date is May 5th, so they would prefer that with TDA that all construction inspections and everything is completed before that date.
May 5th.
And essentially, that would be the final walkthrough, making sure the light, everything's been done correctly, and the engineer would do that. And I think, is Mr. Rusk on the line? He could probably tell you what would.
Mr. Russ?
Yes.
The city council was wanting to know what's the next step after the change order is approved.
Just to do the work and remove that foundation and splice that conduit, and then CenterPoint would pull their wire, and it would be energized.
Okay, so then what? I mean, when will we actually get the sprinkler system, the all of that back working so we can install landscaping and get everything back beautiful again?
So he's wondering, after the light fixtures are done and we do the final walkthrough, then can the city proceed to do their landscape? Would that they're trying not to interfere with the project. That's what they're asking.
The final walkthrough, as far as the sidewalks and everything, was done, I don't know, mid last year, and the punch list was done, and the handicap review or inspection was done and approved. All that's done.
So,
They can proceed with irrigation whenever they like.
oh wow,
When it-
we didn't know all this time. So we can go ahead and proceed with the sprinkler system and finish everything out on this side that we need to get done.
So they,
Yes.
Well, isn't that something? But we've been waiting for how long now? And now they, but okay, I mean,
I had a question about I guess this is an estimate that was given to us. I'm not an accountant or a math major, but when I add 3,500, 1,750, and 750, I come up with $2,850, not $2,800.
Okay, was the quote wrong on there?
So the quote here is it's for the light pole foundation removal.
Okay.
Right, so it says 350 for materials, 1,750 for labor, and 750 for disposal and removal. That to me totals $2,850. They've subtotaled that as $2,800.
Okay.
They then have taken and added $250 in electrical supplies and $1,750 in electrical labor, which to me totals $2,000, and they've totaled that to $1,800.
Okay.
Then, even worse, I take $2,850 and I add that to $2,000, and I get $4,850, and they tell me that the total due is $6,350. So I'm confused at how all that math works.
So that math probably needs to be run by the engineer in Petra to make sure that's correct, because that is something that will need to be verified before we submit to TDA. So I will take a look at all of that for, because that was just a letter that was submitted for review to edit, but I will take a look at that, because essentially with the project, we do have to spend $5,415.78 for the grant to be zeroed out. TDA does not want us leaving any money on the table, obviously. I don't want to either, because I don't want it to count against the city for the next round of funding.
right.
And, you know, that way y'all can qualify for other grants. So that's something that we're trying to do, is at least spend that money. So thank you, sir. I will go back over and look at the quote from the contractor and make sure that's correct.
Okay.
But I'll make a note to do that and then get with Mr. Rusk. And the only last part of this is the Texas Department of Agriculture still hasn't received the single audit for 2023. I know y'all are in process. The only issue is it's stalling us getting funds from TDA until we get the audit. So I spoke to them
Yeah,
today.
That's on our list of things to do. We're working on that, right? Thank you for reminding us. So, can we? The grant doesn't cover the irrigation, any of that. That's a city thing. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's good to know. We can move forward, getting the irrigation done, getting our landscape back done, and our plants and everything back in there in place.
Yes, sir. And hopefully the foundation, once we get the change order approved, we can get that removed. And thank you again for keeping an eye out on everything, Ms. Glover and Council and Mayor Pro Tem. And like I said, I'll review the quote because the total on the change order might have been right, but maybe the breakdown wasn't. So I appreciate you pointing that out. But I'll verify it again before I let you know.
All right, thank you.
Sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Russ.
Okay, moving right along quickly, so can I get a motion? Can I get a motion to approve, item C, D, F, G, H, I, J, and L?
I'll make a motion to approve those letters.
Not K.
And not K, yeah. A second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Old business. This is my item. Discussion and possible action, review convention center policy and procedures. I asked for this one to place back on there again, to talk about the fees. And, I know that, security we want to make sure that things are done safe, the place is not torn up, and everything's in order. But the security costs to have events in the convention center is very expensive. Some citizens have called and have spent up to $600 to $800 on security. That's the most expensive part of renting a convention center. So, and I don't know if we're requiring 2 security guards whenever there's alcohol. Now, I think we've already changed to where we don't need security if there's like a baby shower or non-alcohol. This is only speaking. So, is it required that we must have 2, or can we at least break it down to 1?
I thought it was it about depend on the people. Like if it's over 200 or whatever, you know, the capacity, then you have to have 2.
Okay,
It's
so
just depending on the body.
if it's over 200.
I don't know the exact.
If it's
amount.
over 100.
100, yeah.
If it's over 100.
If it's over 100, we have to have 2. Okay, well that's good. That helps because most
Yeah.
people would not have anything that's over 100. And it would be good for our Brookshire Police Department, you know, to ride by and just if there's something going on at the convention center, have the officers just stop by and let the people know, hey, I'm in the area. If something's going on, you could call me, you know, and that would be a big help as well. So I guess we'll leave it at that. Well, we need security, and anything that's under 100 people, there's only 1 officer required. That would be a big savings because Hovis Park, the work that's going to be done at Hovis Park is going to be another venue that will be also available for the citizens to use over there once it's done. Yeah. Okay, so I guess there's no action. Item number 8.
Mayor Pope, we never passed, what did we talk about last? Oh, to have the residents not pay a fee. We never passed that.
Well, that was I think we didn't vote on it, but I think there was disagreement with council. We can vote on it if you like.
It was mostly because of the.
We tabled it, I remember.
Because of the officers, though.
Yeah, it was because of the
It was more the officers. It didn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
We actually agreed to, well, I mean, we didn't pass it, but we did agree that residents should
No
not
fee.
have to pay.
I think we passed that.
I think
never passed
we
it.
discussed it, and we kind of,
We never
in
passed
general,
it.
said, yes, we like that, but we weren't able to change the entire packet, so we never voted on
We
the
never
whole
voted on it.
packet.
Well,
Rather than doing piecemeal, we just kind of
well, I
tabled it
think
to
we
our-
can. I would like to make a motion that there's no fee. I thought I did that, but that there's no fee, but we do keep the security in place.
Second.
So no fee for
No
residents.
fee. No fee for residents.
No fee for
yes.
residents.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Item number 8, discussion of possible action to purchase a road repair zipper equipment. That was my item. Now, I did do some additional research on this particular equipment. It actually grinds up the roadway and then places it back down, but we still would need a roller and a water truck. So I just don't think that at this particular time, it's gonna be what we need for road work here. So I would like to just withdraw my motion on this one. Okay, item number 9, discussion of possible action to move city funds within the city limits. Woman McDade.
Yes, I did put this item on here because we do want to support our local business. And right now, the bank is located in the Rosenberg area. So, do we have Stellar Bank here? Did someone talk to? We do?
Yeah, there is a Stellar Bank.
Oh, they're here?
No, she said,
No,
they're
I'm
here at the
saying, are
meeting,
they
they're
here?
not
I
here
thought a
at the meeting.
representative was coming. Okay, well, I would like to make a motion that we go out for a bid on one of our local banks.
Well, the banking thing, I've been doing some research on the banking. When the city had Wells Fargo, there was different accounts, specifically a tax account. And as the gentleman mentioned earlier, the city collect $5 million in taxes, right? Before we moved from Wells Fargo to New First, we had $5 million, over $5 million, plus $1 million in the tax account. Okay, and then we moved to New First, and we have $5 million, a little over $5 million. So, I without having a tax account, the money that's going in the New First, from what I can see, is going into a general fund, a general account, not a separate tax account. And so we had $1 million in that tax account in Wells Fargo, right? And now we only have $5 million in New First. So before we move the bank, I think we might need to go and do some research, hire a banker or firm or someone to go do some research, to just maybe a forensic audit or some type of research to see what happened, or if anything happened.
Mayor Pro Tem, I heard earlier tonight, the tax people, he stated that he has our tax account. Is that correct? Did you state? See, I didn't know that. He said he has the tax account.
We collect it and put it into the tax account, and then we move it to the general, whatever tax account, we wire that money over to the city.
So do we have access of record of this tax account that you have?
Correct. Y'all should have records of when y'all were there, y'all had signed the documents to open it, that's correct.
Who? Where? When?
Either, say the council, mayor, the city manager, somebody signed documents.
Maybe
to open it. We just
previously.
manage it, y'all actually, the city owns it.
No, I'm saying where is it?
Oh, it's at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
Is it still at Wells Fargo? Oh.
See?
All of our stuff is at Wells Fargo, that's correct.
We were never.
Do you know how much money is in that account? Estimate?
As of today, there's $98,000 in the account, and we have moved $5.18 million over to whatever fund is been wired out, it's been wired out of the tax account.
Is that correct, Ms. Nye? That's not the amount.
That's really interesting.
Okay, because again, when we had the tax account at our banking at Wells Fargo, there was over $5 million plus $1 million in the tax account. So now you're saying that there's a little over $5 million that you wired and only $98,000 in the tax account, right? So.
We started a new Wells Fargo account when we got hired.
Oh.
It was zero.
Oh.
Yes, correct. We didn't just take over any tax account. We started our own tax account that you owned that we managed.
Oh, it was zero. Okay. Okay.
We weren't involved in anything prior. We owned our own account.
Right.
We managed for y'all. We collected, we moved it to y'all's account, and then we just have a little bit to pay bills.
I understand. So for the sake of time, we
Previous
could,
council did a ton of research into banking and looking at banking and making sure that we had accessibility of government banking accounts, government investment facilities and accounts and things like that. So if we're going to move again, I definitely think we need to do some serious research into what options are available at the various banks and what they can provide to the city before we make a decision to move again.
yeah, but more so not move again yet until we go and find out and do a little research here and see
On the current bank.
on the current bank, specifically when the transfer from Wells Fargo to New First. We need to start right there. Yeah.
Yes.
So, no action, well,
So we're tabling that for.
Yeah,
we're
we table
tabling
it.
that
Yeah.
until we can, yeah. New business, item 10, update from code enforcer about overgrown weed, grass within city limits. Alderman, Ms. Taylor.
Hello. Did you reach out to those areas?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. Yes,
Good
I did
evening.
reach out to those areas. I actually did a ride-along with one of your city representatives,
Mhm.
Miss Beatrice.
Mhm.
She's more familiar with the area.
Is she?
Yeah, she's here.
Oh.
And we went through those streets that you sent in that was sent in the email.
You seen the overgrown?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And
Okay.
it's what we call in code enforcement, it's growing season.
Yeah, right.
With the
Mhm.
rain, the warm temperature, grass is gonna grow and it's gonna grow quick.
Right.
So I opened up cases on all these that we laid eyes on.
Mhm.
I've been in contact with 4 out of the 5 property owners. And we're going from there.
Okay. The citizens. Okay. Thank you. It was a citizens that called, so I appreciate it.
No, for sure. And we'll take care of it whenever it comes across our desk.
Thank y'all.
Any other
Thank y'all.
questions for them?
Any other questions?
What about what?
Also, Stella, he's been, you have an update on the.
Oh, the trash can.
Yeah, in regards to that, I've been in contact with the representative for Cabrera Realty.
Mhm.
He has sent me a letter of intent. What he plans on doing is hiring someone to come out and clean after every trash
Thank
pickup.
you. Thank you.
So that's his plan moving forward.
Okay. Thank you so much for. Did you have another question?
Is he aware of what we talked about today, Solomon? The little pod?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to the owner of that,
Okay.
and he said he was going to get it out of city limits until he can go ahead and go through the process. I gave him 2 weeks. Reason being, he has to schedule a pickup for that pod. So, if he can help me get it out of here, I'll help him with the timeline. But after that timeline, it's go time on my end.
I want to share something what happened to me today. I drove back over there just to look at it. And this young man just pops up out of the weeds. Literally, just like that. No shirt, just short and boots. Walks over and he asks me, I didn't pull into the drive, I'm on the street. Can I help you?
So that's his resident. That's his resident.
Dude. And I said, well, I had friends that used to have a house here, and I'm just coming back here to look. He's like, there's never been a house here. Well, that tells me he's not from here.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, it was a house here. And he's like, well, I said, what is that? And he says, that's a pod. I said, you live in there? He says, no, not yet.
Mm. Oh, we got a lot of them around our area. They just bring them in and literally.
But he says, I'm just here taking care of helping my friend with the property. But his intention, living there. Now, judging from what I'm looking at, he lives over there. And he's probably living inside that pod.
But once the timeline is up, it's got to go. And that's the deal.
Yeah.
But like I said, I did give him that time because he assured me it will be gone until he goes through the proper permitting processes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gave him that time to get it out of here.
Okay.
Because he did show initiative by coming up here first, trying to get permits for it. So it's a give and take with me.
Right. Okay.
Anyone have any other questions?
And he is on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
Item number 11, discussion of possible action to hiring an animal control, Paul Miller and Olivia Olson. Alden, Olson? That's you. Okay. Mr. McNally.
Well, we have tried to reach out to Mr. Miller several times. I do not see him
He
here.
he texted me. He got in late. I guess he was out doing what they do, trapping animals or whatever. And Olivia Olson texted me earlier today, and she got a last-minute call that I guess when you do that, you just don't know how long you're going to be out there trying to catch an animal. I've been in conversation with him, and he is willing to come up here tomorrow morning and meet with someone to get the ball rolling. He is very interested, but as far as him just being able to make the meeting, if they get a last-minute call or something like that, then they have to go.
So what do we want to talk to him about? I mean,
His services and what he has to offer.
does he have a,
Well, I'll explain this.
why can't we just hire him to do the work? I mean, if he's an animal control person, I mean, what
We've
more?
been-
He's just going to
we've
come
been
tell us
trying-
he's going
we've
to
been
trap
trying
animals?
to.
I trap animals. I mean,
And
is
we've
that
been
we?
trying to, but we don't even know what he would charge. We don't know what hours he's
Well, our
available
budget is
for.
30.
We
Our
don't know
budget is
nothing.
$35,000. I think is what we approved in our budget. I mean, so.
Right. But we just been trying to talk to him at all,
We
just to find out.
would
what he
develop
could
a
even
scope
do.
of service for him. We get the city attorney to develop a scope of service for him. And I'm sure they can go out and Google and benchmark and find other cities that have it. Katy has their own animal control, whatever. But we get that and we provide it. If he can live within these scope of services, then we hire him and then we put a performance thing in place. So we want to see the amount of animals go down, right? Or something. But,
Well,
and then, you know. and then
I'll say this, Olivia, they work for two different companies, and they work together closely. So it'll be a good benefit to have both of them on board to coordinate and help with the issue that we're having. in our community.
And, you know, Ms. Ruth, we'll have you. Yes, ma'am, you may.
Yeah, I know Paul Miller. I met him during the Ernesto's rescue. He's really a retired hunter, so he's very good at darting, which means when there's a dog that we need to capture, but he's not capturable, Mr. Miller is awesome at darting, taking care of the animal first. And Mr. Miller also is a safety first person. He believes in getting permission from the landowners before going on their property.
That's good.
He charges $150,000 a year. I mean, I'm not quoting him, but I think the city could use that money to network, what he's gonna do anyway. We could call him, I mean, I'm not trying to jump any
Yeah.
protocol, but my vision is to continue doing what we're doing, which is people are working within our own neighborhoods and adopting our neighborhoods and helping the animals where we can, because even with Mr. Miller, he's gonna have to do the same thing we would have to do, which is find a place for the animals to go. The shelters are full, there's hardly any fosters available, so I think if Brookshire could spend some kind of productive time in finding fosters, then we could call Mr. Miller when we needed him, because there's
Okay.
plenty of people who can do the interim work, trapping, people like me that just go out and catch a dog and find a home for it. But,
Okay.
I think Mr. Miller's great, but I don't think we need all his services.
Thank you for that. And you know, remember what happened at the mobile home park? We
Yeah.
just had an incident
Yeah.
where somebody got bit, right? So it's very important that we get this done. It really is, yeah.
Now, thank you for saying that. That's where Olivia Olson comes into play.
Mm.
She does have access to a shelter. But I love your passion, and that's why I requested for her to be on the committee. Now, for whatever reason, that committee never got started.
That's why it's back
Actually,
on
it's
here. I
agenda
put it
item
on.
number 12.
Right.
So you can go ahead and keep talking
But,
about
yeah.
it.
It will
But
be done this
we
time.
we do need local people to get involved with this animal control
Mhm.
rescue.
So if we can get Ms. Dunn, because, you know, she's our community person now. We can get Ms. Dunn to work on this committee here and,
Can we talk
you
about
know,
it first?
and you want to talk? Okay, so let's go to item 12.
What are we gonna do with item number 11?
We have a
Item number 11, I think a scope, he can come meet tomorrow, right? He comes and meets tomorrow. He talked to Ms. Corner. We get with the attorneys, we develop a scope of service, and we hire him to go do what he needs to do. We put performance standards in the scope, and we move on.
And how do we include Miss Olivia in that conversation?
Let me reach out to her to see if she's available. What time? Do we have a time for tomorrow
She
morning?
could be available by phone, don't have to be here.
Right.
We can do Zoom, all that's available, yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna coordinate that, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'll-
I can't imagine that he wouldn't have some form of engagement letter with
Right.
his prices, and that'll be the scope.
Okay.
That's what I was hoping he was gonna be able to produce for us.
Before you spend a lot of time me developing something, he probably already have some.
Okay, I just want to make sure that, my opinion, that whatever is developed or whatever, there's no liability for, you know, somebody get bid or he do something wrong and then the city's liable for something. So hopefully you can review it, yeah.
We'll have that
Right, okay. All right, so that's,
So, Ms. Conner, you're gonna
Motion,
meet with
yeah.
him in the morning?
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Whoever is, whenever they are available, just let them know. I'll be there.
all right, so that's no really action on that. Item number 12, discussion possible action to form an animal rescue committee. Alderman McDade.
All righty, here we go. So the incident you were speaking of.
Sorry.
Yeah, you call me a man. So the incident we were speaking of in the trailer park, I was involved with that directly. The manager over there, Misty Flores, contacted me, and well, she actually put a post on social media, and I contacted her, and I went over there, and we kind of got that taken care of. But it brought this back up. Previously, before we tried to form this animal rescue committee, and it kind of fell through the hole some type of way. So here we go again, Miss Ruth. Of course, you know, we know your passion for animals, and we would like you to be over this committee. A part of it,
It's
rather.
done.
And I know Miss Misty Flores said that she wants to be a part of it as well. So,
No, may I say something? Because, you know, that right there where we just realized that I don't want to be over anything. One of the things about Mr. Paul Miller is he's made it very clear to me, and he's not here to, I'm not quoting him, he's made it very clear to me that we're gonna all move out of his way, and he's letting him do his job. And I think that's, some jobs that works very well, but we as a people and open government, I mean, he's not working for a private resident, he would be working for the city. So we need to have some kind of scope of engagement, some kind of scope where the citizens can have input before he does what he does. Again, he's a great, compassionate man, when it comes to guarding dogs, but
Now,
yeah.
now, I'm sorry, this is how we lost the last animal control officer. When you hire someone to do the job, we need to let them do the job. We can't hover over their neck and tell them, no, you don't do it this way, we want you to do it this way. Or we're gonna be back in the same position over again. Yes, ma'am, I believe so.
what happened before with Doug Murphy, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible to have there's no chain of command, it was just giving one person, whatever happened, it didn't work.
It wasn't a committee in place last time.
Whatever has happened since 2020,
Well, I'll say this,
and Paul Miller has made it clear to me
if,
he's gonna be the one in
I'll say this, let me say this. If he's hired, if
Okay.
he's hired, I will not allow anyone to hinder him to come out and do his job.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we can move along now.
Yeah.
The goal is for them to work together.
So we'll get Ms. Dunn. Ms. Dunn will be, she's hired for this thing now, and she'll be the lead person. And of course, we'll welcome you, Ms. Ruth, to be a part of it, but Ms. Dunn will get with you, okay?
You're gonna have to work with us. You're gonna have to work with us.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on for the sake of time,
Okay.
please. So item number,
Ms. Rodriguez and Ms. Flores, was there anybody else?
Those are the only two
Right.
right now.
Did anybody else have anybody they would like to place on the committee? So Ms.
No.
Dunn can contact them. Did y'all have any?
I don't.
If so, please email me if you have someone you would like to place on this animal
Okay.
rescue committee. That way we can make sure that Ms. Dunn gets in contact with them and schedule meetings and so forth.
Okay.
All right. Item number 13. Discussing possible action to refurbish the exterior of the Public Works building, and this is my item. So, I know originally we had a company to come out and provide some design quotes, but we decided we didn't need to pay $30, almost $40,000 for a company to come out to design a project that's not that big of a project. So we had a company come out, Mr. Clint Taylor had a company to come out that specialized in metal buildings. They evaluated the building, they determined that the structure of the building's fine, with the exception of one beam that could be easily replaced, cut out and replaced. And they did provide us a quote for reskinning the exterior of the building. Now, this does not include any interior work. This is only the exterior skin of the building, and also replacing the roof, painting the roof white on the outside. And that quote came in around, I think, like 80,000. Did you find it in there? I couldn't find it in there. So somewhere around 80,000, 81,000, something like that.
Yeah, so it's $58,700.
Right.
$58,785 for the
Reskin the oxygen.
reskinning, and $81,346 for the new
Yeah,
building.
and the 81,000 we might need to talk about if we want to do that or not. That is the lean-to to keep the equipment out of rain. I thought that was a little high, the 81,000 a little high. But the
Yeah, I don't do metal
but the
construction.
58,000 to reskin the exterior of the building, I think, was a good price. Is a good price. That is because the interior, the design, just to design the building, the company wanted to provide a design was somewhere around 38,000. So 58,000 to do the exterior of the building, I think, is a pretty good price. And then we could all come back later and hire someone to go in and do interior work, frame out, because the idea of this whole project was to make it better for the employees there. The building is in really, really bad condition, very bad condition. There's no break room there. The employees have to eat in their car when it's hot outside and all of that. So we want to put good office space in there and also provide good break room and good amenities for the employees. That's what started this project. So with that being said,
Do you remember what was budgeted for this project?
I would have to go look at that and
Yeah,
see. I don't know. I
It
think
was
it's-
far more than
I think
58,000. I know
We're
that.
we're
I
well
don't-
under that, I think, yeah.
I don't remember what the total was.
We even have enough to do the interior as well in that budget, I think. But
So is your proposal that we move forward with just the skinning and
just
not
the
the new
skinning,
building?
just the skinning for now. Yeah, that's
I would move that we approve D. Howard Construction to do the outside repairs on the Public Works building with a bid of $58,785.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, we have a few more. Number 14, discussion of possible action on putting lighting outside City Hall, Alderwoman McDade.
It's been taken care of already.
Okay, it's done. Thank you, no action. Item 15. Oh,
Should be in the
update on $16,000 check submitted to Waller County District Attorney. Alderwoman McDade. That,
Attorney Olson, do we need to discuss this in executive? Okay,
okay,
Executive committee.
discussion executive session.
along with number 16 as well.
Number 16, Also, which will be update on contacting Texas Rangers in reference to camera violation, will be discussed in executive session. 17, discussion HR payroll procedures for accrued comp time and cash out. Will that be cash out procedures? Will that also be executive session?
You can discuss that in public.
Okay. Alderwoman McDade.
Alrighty. Okay. So, Ms. Connor or Ms. Glover, can y'all explain the procedure of using comp time and cashing out comp time as well?
If you accrue comp time, the procedure to cash out, it's a form that you complete. You request however much time you would like to cash out. Based on how much time you have, you complete that form, you give it to your supervisor, your department head. They sign off on it, and then it's gave to payroll for processing. But it has to be approved by your department head.
Okay. So you can't sign off on it yourself?
No, ma'am. Should always be someone else, a department head that approves it.
Okay.
And who approves the department heads?
The mayor?
Okay. That's what I need to know. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else have discussion on that? Okay, move on to item 18. Discussion and possible action to decide disciplinary action for the misuse of EDC funds by the former city comptroller without authorization. Alderwoman
Should this
McDade.
be an executive session? item?
Executive.
Executive session. Okay. Okay. 19, update on town hall meeting referencing changing 13th Street to Jackson Street. Alderwoman McDade.
Mr. Austin, did we ever get a letter out to the residents on 13th Street?
I believe so. In fact, if I read the city secretary's report correctly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so what we did create a notice. The notice has been placed on the website, and Public Works, Ms. McFarland went out and placed it on everybody's door on 13th Street. And also, it's available for pickup if someone have any concerns. And it'll be a town hall meeting before our next regular scheduled meeting.
Okay.
Or during the meeting. We'll put it on the agenda during the meeting if they have any concerns.
Okay.
But yes, everyone has been notified. So if they have any concerns, they can call or come up here, or they can come to the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we are moving forward with that.
Okay. Item 20, last item before executive session. Item 20, discussion and possible action, review former employees of the city of Brookshire. Detailed reason for termination for the 2022 and 2023 and 2024. And I
This
think
should
this
also
will
be
be
an executive
executive
session.
executive session.
Ain't nobody here.
Okay.
Yeah, they can leave it in the public.
The time is 8:58.
Freaking hours.
8:58. The city
Executive
council will
session.
meet in closed session pursuant to Title 5, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for the purpose of consultation with legal counsel, Section 551071. Council will convene an executive session pursuant to Section 551074 in the Texas Government Code to consider personnel issues and duties of public officers, employees, city secretary, police chief, public works director, municipal courts clerk, and social media tech. Discussion paychecks and overpayment. City, okay. Thank y'all. Okay, welcome back. It is 9:57. We've completed executive session. There were 2 actions that we need to discuss from executive session. One of them is to authorize a second signature, temporarily authorize a second signature on signing checks. And we have decided to select Ms. Lakeithia Connor as temporary authorized second signature on signing checks.
We discussed it, but y'all need to make a motion.
Make a
Right.
motion.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to select Ms. Lakeithia Connor as a second signer, temporary, for authorizing checks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. The second item we would like to discuss is social media. And that is Ms. Alderwoman McDade.
All righty, good evening, good night, hello. Okay, currently our social media coordinator is Miss Abby Ferguson. She does get paid $2,300 a month. The services include posts for events on the City Hall calendar, repost of major news outlets of events issued pertaining to our city and surrounding areas, holiday posts and days of remembrance, respond in a timely manner for questions, concerns on posts from followers, make reels or posts of city events that have occurred, showcase local businesses and the services they provide, post pictures of local scenery, informative reels and posts for newer residents. What else? Reels showing off our town scenery, creative weekly features, meet the staff Monday, travel Tuesday, throwback Thursday, small business Saturday, fun facts about the city and surrounding areas that you know, more reels, multiple stories per week, 3 posts per week, other social media related activities and actions as needed. The reason this is actually on the agenda is because now we do have a community relations coordinator, which, my opinion, I believe that she can actually take care of the social media needs for our city because she's here. She can, do more than the social media person is doing right now because she's actually here in town. She can take pictures of the scenery, events, different things like that. So.
Has anyone ever met?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've met her.
I met her at the Christmas festival, but I
But
know
it's
we had been
like, you don't
requesting for her to
say,
come here so
yeah.
the public can meet her, but she never
It's
made
like
it.
she does come to the events, but it's not like an all day thing. You know what I mean? It might be a couple of hours, take pictures here, there, post them, and then leave. Like for the events and stuff.
Well, seems like this is an opportunity to save the city some money,
Absolutely.
right? We have an employee
We're paying her
that's
already,
hired that
yeah.
we're already paying. And we have an outside contractor that we're paying, was it $3,000 a month or $2,300 or whatever?
23.
23.
She has 2 contracts, if I'm not mistaken, she has a contract with the PD. And
So I think it's $3,000 a month.
Chief has his own thing with it, it's
Yeah,
separate
that's
from what the
separate.
city.
So-
The city's is 2,200 and I'm.
800.
And
2300.
So this is the opportunity to save the citizens some money. We have a person that we've hired already, Ms. Dunn, that could do this task, this job. And so is that your motion, Ms. Alderman McDade?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to have Miss Dunn, our community relations coordinator, to actually take over the social media as well.
Which would result in the termination of our contract with Abby.
And terminate the contract with Miss Abby Ferguson
Effective
immediately.
actually, we don't have a contract, there was nothing ever signed
Okay.
between the party and our
Yeah,
social.
I still think, we can treat it almost like a month-to-month type of
Oh,
relationship. So let's send her notice of intent to terminate.
Yes, yeah, we don't have anything signed.
Okay, well,
That's only for the city, you have to remember, Chief has his,
Yeah, this
No.
is for the city.
no.
Chief has.
The city
Chief can
side,
Continue
yeah.
his services if he chooses to, coming from his business. Chief
It's coming out of his budget.
I know, but I'm just trying to understand, why would we still pay $800 a month when we still have someone that could do it all? That's just my opinion.
And I agree. I think we've asked for her to even show up at city council meetings, and
Yep.
I couldn't tell you who this person is.
I know that she's given us reports. I don't know that I recall seeing her show up at the meeting.
No, she ain't never showed up to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've met her, every time I've ever met her, it's been at an event.
An event, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So what do we?
so, do we want to keep her?
My question is just, I know Ms. Dunn is coordinating a lot of stuff for the city, but I don't know that she's coordinating with the police department, so.
Not yet.
So
We can get her to do that.
okay, so is that Miss Alderwoman McDade? What is your motion?
I just made it.
You made a motion only for the city and not for the police? Or terminate altogether?
Well. Y'all put me on the spot.
Well, I'll make the motion, terminate it altogether.
Okay.
But, I mean, okay, I understand.
She would have to withdraw.
Well, I'll make the motion, the second motion, to terminate the police part. Can I do that?
Well, we need to vote on hers first.
Her motion doesn't reflect that. Her motion reflects the city side.
Second her motion just for the city.
Okay, is there a second? Is there a second for the
second
city? All in favor?
That's just for the city.
That's for the
All in
city.
favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
motion passed. Now I'd like to make a motion to terminate on the police side.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Motion passed. Mr. McNally, nay. Motion passed. Future agenda items. Item number 22. Mr. Green. Mr. Green.
Yes, sir.
Have-
There's a couple. Which one first? Discussion and possible action reaching out to the county to start collecting our taxes.
Ms. Glover, you have it, right? Because I'm not writing anything. You,
Yes, ma'am. Discussion, possible action, waiving permit fees for the FFA Spring Fling at Hovis Park. It's a fundraiser, Spring Fling.
Mr. Green, did you get a date of the?
Yes, ma'am, let me get that for you right. Is it? It's kind of blurry. No. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I'm sure that's April 26th, something 26th, they sent me the flyer in Spanish.
You said it is in Spanish.
is that it, sir?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
I have one, the workshop again for the opera funds for the widening of the streets and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know, we never had a workshop, and citizens are waiting for us to get a date so we can.
I thought that we decided to move forward with going out for bid for what's already there. And then when the bids come back, we'll just decide, you know, we only have $550,000. Oh, the major thoroughfare plan. Okay. Okay, so we want to, I'm sorry, what was your motion again? What was,
We need to
was
try
your
to get a
future?
date set.
A date set.
Or, you
And
know,
if I remember correctly, you were gonna come up with a date, and it was gonna be on a Wednesday because the council members on meetings on Thursdays. You were gonna discuss with, Ms. Corner to come up with a date that we all could be there, to discuss the master thoroughfare plan.
So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
for the citizens' questions, because it's mostly for the citizens.
right. And I,
Engineers, because they'll be kind of handling that workshop.
right.
If you want to call it town hall.
Yeah, and I know that we asked them in this meeting to go ahead and provide us a quote to redo the plan.
I do remember that.
Yeah, in this meeting here. Is that it, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Mr. McNally?
Motion and possible action on a final demand letter to the Lakeside HOA for repairs to the outflow. For repairing the outflow.
Which is what we talked about earlier.
Right.
I'm going to work with the engineers and come up with the demand.
Is that it, sir?
Discussion and possible action to, on the request from Scott Inc. for a waiver of their tax penalties.
Is that it? Okay, I have discussion and possible action to review the city hall roof repairs. And then the second one is discussion and possible action to review City of Brookshire Police Officer support.
Support.
Yeah, support for the community, support for community events. Yeah, for community events. Right. And then the last one I have is discussion and possible action for city vehicle use. Admin, not police, just admin vehicle.
Policy related to use of city-owned vehicles.
Right, admin vehicles, yeah. And that's all I have, Ms. McDade?
I have 10. No, I'm just playing. No, I won't do that.
Like I did, it's payback, huh?
Update on the street lights that's supposed to be placed by the hangar. We never did even, follow through with that.
Okay.
Also, update on all of our events that's coming up, Cinco de Mayo, Juneteenth, and 4th of July. I want to update on all of that. That's it.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards, I'm sorry, I do have one more. Discussion and possible action on the project to replace the commemorative bricks that have been
yes.
removed.
Yeah.
As well as the sesquicentennial bricks that were purchased.
We did.
Yeah.
And the pictures. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the
Think
mayor
Miss-
pictures as well.
I think Ms. Corner has a to-do list that we gave her a while back. She's working on.
We're working,
Yeah.
the pictures, we have already started restoring them and stuff. The only thing that, as far as the bricks, did we purchase them from a certain person? Do y'all anybody that was on the council at that time, do y'all remember who we purchased them for? So if possible, we can put a notice out for other people that may wanna purchase them before
Right.
we do put them down, the rest of them down?
The ones for the sesquicentennial, I know who we purchased them from. I do not know who the original ones when they redid City Hall were purchased from.
Cause I would like to put a notice out for if any other citizens would like to purchase.
Okay. We'll have that once we get to that discussion on that date.
Yeah, so we
Of
can do
next
that.
council meeting, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, do we have any community announcements that we need to talk about at all? So that's on the list here. Okay. Town hall meeting? Water district, okay. Water district town hall meeting. For the bond, yes, ma'am.
Oh, for the bond
What
meeting?
day?
What day?
April the 8th at 6 p.m. Town hall meeting.
That's over at your guys' building there? At the convention center, okay.
Okay.
The 8th.
Okay, the last one is adjournment.
make a motion that we adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.